Yes, good afternoon. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. This is episode 5 of Football Fever. If you're thinking that we've not been here 5 times, that's because I do Football Fever with some other characters as well. Today, we're back with Judge Mo, with LB. Guys, how are we doing? Everyone well?
Always well, bro.
Fantastic.
Always well.
Good.
Absolutely brilliant. Happy to be
Good.
here.
Anyone been having some good arguments and debates already today about football?
Exactly. Nobin's kind of destroyed my arguments when I tried to.
Oh, he cooked you, did he?
Yes, he did. I tried to spin a narrative on him.
You got cooked.
Very humble of you, bro, to accept that.
I did, to be honest. Him and Tom, I tried to spin a narrative and they're like, crushed me, bro. That's just like...
It's all good fun. It's all good fun. Welcome to absolutely everyone in the chat. Please smash that like button as you come in. Please subscribe to Judge Mo, subscribe to It's LB, subscribe to Football Heritage TV, and help all the content creators as they continue to grow. Today, we're going to be talking about Newcastle. They look like we talked about them last week, but they look like they're in a massive pickle. Talk of Wilson going. Almiron looks like he's heading out to Saudi Arabia. Kieran Trippier. Bayern Munich is a possibility. They're talking about Isak and Kamara, so we'll talk about them. I want to talk about Liverpool winning 4-0, comfortable away day in the end for them at Bournemouth. Are they going to win the league? Are they just keeping themselves in contact with Man City? And we're going to be talking about Ivan Toney. He's back for Brentford, causing all sorts of mayhem by moving a football by 1 yard. So it's the sort of things that we talk about. And I'm just seeing now that Nico Williams, it's just coming up on breaking news on Sky Sports. Nico Williams has been attempted by Final to go on loan, and Nottingham Forest have rejected it. And they're another club that are in financial trouble. Let me start with you, LB. We'll start by talking about Newcastle. The dreams were there. They brought in these owners who are combined the richest owners in world football. They're the wealthiest club on paper in world football. And already after 2 years, they need to sell players. And we're talking about the likes of Wilson and Trippier and Almiron, people that have been prominent figures in the Eddie Howe setup. What's going on there? How much is this going to set them back? And can Eddie Howe survive this?
Oh, that's a big question to get us going, man.
It is, man. It is.
It's a shame for Newcastle fans that this FFP regulation is in place. Obviously. So they what do you mean? Here we go. Is that not true?
So you're looking at Everton and Forest, and you think, yes, FFP is again. We're having this conversation again.
He just asked me about why Newcastle's selling the players.
And you're gonna because you're a Manchester City fan. All you want to talk about is that this FFP is bad because
I didn't say it was bad.
And I agree with you. It will prevent Newcastle.
Did I just say it was bad?
But at the same time,
I said it was a shame. Did I say it was bad? I said it was a shame for Newcastle fans that they've had to sell the players because of FFP. Is that not a factually fair?
No, you're slagging FFP.
I didn't flag it off once. I said it was a shame.
When you say it's shame that Newcastle have to sell their players because of FFP,
it's a shame. It's a shame. I said it's a shame for Newcastle fans. Is that not true?
Yeah, because so they should get.
He didn't even get a chance to answer the question.
You're trying to rile up Newcastle fans against FFP. Is that what you're doing?
I don't need to rile up Newcastle fans. Newcastle fans are riled up themselves. They don't need me to get on board and tell them what to do. They know what they're doing exactly. I said it was a shame for Newcastle fans and Newcastle that they've got to sell these players because of FFP. That is legit. That is a fact for them. Now, whether or not you care about FFP, that's irrelevant. You know what I mean? I was asked a question, and the answer to the question is it's a shame for Newcastle fans that they've got to sell the players because of FFP. That's a fact. Now, what I would say is they're getting rid of some of the ones that I feel that they need to replace anyway. As good as Trippier is, what is he, 31, 32? So he's going to need to be replaced anyway at some point. Almiron, in my opinion, isn't good enough for a Champions League side, which
I agree.
Newcastle fans need to accept that that's their ambition. That's where they need to get to. So that's not a major issue. And Wilson's 32 anyway. So they probably need to get in the market and look for a replacement. A backup for Isak. So the good news is they don't have to sell one of the stars, because obviously that was the big worry for Newcastle fans when all this FFP stuff come out about being close, that they might have to sell Bruno, Isak, one of the big players. That looking like they might get away with selling some of these players that they're going to replace anyway. It's obviously going to stall their progress. Clearly, they're not going to be able to buy the players that they want. They're not going to be able to buy as quickly as they want. But the only thing I would say to Newcastle fans is you're going to get there at some point, yeah, because you got all the money in the world. It's just going to take you a lot longer to get there, but you'll get there. So take your time, yeah, and you'll get there. As for the question on Eddie Howe, personally, I'd keep him until the end of the season, and then do some business, and then I think for next year, Savva, I set him serious targets next year.
Mm-hmm.
This year, he's had a lot of injuries this year. It's the first year in the Champions League. Let's just accept that this year's been a bit of a disaster. But it is what it is. Next year, though, no messing around now. We get to the summer, your target's top 4. Yeah, you can't take us into the top 4. I'm sorry, we're going to have to get a manager who can. So that's what I do. I'd set him a target for next season and go from there. I wouldn't be sacking him this season, though, in my opinion. But I'll be very strict on what his objectives are next year. No messing around, no friendly guy. If you don't meet it, you're off.
Yeah. Well, look, interesting. I mean, Mo, look, as LB said, Kieran Trippier is 33. He's 34 this year, so probably not the worst time to get rid of him. Callum Wilson, very, very injury prone. Almiron, is he that good? Could this just be speeding up? If we're going to flip it on its head, could this be a good thing for Newcastle? Could this be that they're speeding up a kind of evolving of the squad or a refreshment of the squad?
Yeah, 100%. You're right. However, are they going to be allowed to spend money? So that's the question. Yeah, they can sell these players, and then where is the money coming to replace him? Kieran Trippier is a top player, right? Almiron might not be Champions League footballer, but last season he was very good. Even I think his energy, the way he plays, actually it suits Eddie Howe very, very well. Callum Wilson is a very decent backup to Alexander Isak. So you're forced to sell them because you have to replace them. Are you going to be able to spend the money to replace these guys? Is the FFP going to allow you to spend the money, or you're just going to have to sell them, and the Premier League regulations are going to tell you, well, you'll have to do with youngsters. You'll have to do with loans. You'll have to do with lower quality players, because Kieran Trippier, even at 33, you need to replace him with someone good as well, even as a backup. Yes, Livramento there, but you need to replace him with someone good. So that's the question. I think maybe it's speeding up the process, but also I think on the short term, it might be hindering Newcastle progress big time. Big time. If they sell Kieran Trippier, which is, they said, rumor that they are blocking Kieran Trippier and Callum Wilson, Almiron is fine, he can go. But in my opinion, if they sell these 3 now and they don't replace them next year, the objectives that LB is talking about might be out of hand, might be out of reach for them, because they aren't going to be able to replace this. Just comes back to the FFP question. So maybe they need to get, and I'm not joking here, maybe they need to actually find something around this FFP thing, get a deal with a sponsorship from Saudi Arabia or something, sell a player to Saudi Arabia for inflated money. Like,
do we know, though, do either of you know how bad is the situation for Newcastle? Like, how much money are they over?
I don't think it's that bad, Savva. I don't think it's that bad.
It's not that bad.
Because they're selling these players. I mean, they're going to get, what, 10 million for trips? You might get 20, 25 million for Almiron. I doubt you get much more than that. And then Wilson, again, I don't think it's a major issue. I just think that they're obviously trying to be safe, and the teams are no longer going to push the boundary. Teams are going to be well safe because, of course, of no one wants to get the points deduction. I mean, it's a sad situation that we've got here. That an unintended consequence of the FFP situation is that clubs are more likely to sell academy products, because that goes straight to the bottom line. That's straight product, that's straight profit, which is, I don't know if that was a design when this rule come in, but I mean, you look at someone like Miley, for example, and I'm not saying for 1 minute they'd let him go, but if an offer came in for him, a decent looking offer, it's a sad situation that Newcastle might have to consider that, because that money just goes straight into the profit, and it's a big boost for the FFP, which is why obviously Chelsea sold Mount in the summer. potentially looking at selling Conor Gallagher. That's why City snapped their hands off for Cole Palmer, 45 million. Could you just go straight to the money, which is a sad situation. But I wouldn't be worried if I was a Newcastle fan. Like me and Mo said, like it's going to stall them for real. But I believe that in due time they will get there because of the money they've got. It's just going to take them a longer period. So see how they got on, but I won't worry about it too much.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was talks of Isak possibly going. The last thing, Mo, I mean, can you see that Newcastle in any way can let go of an Alexander Isak? Is that the sort of player that if you lose, then the fans start to turn? I mean, I think they'll deal with losing Trippier, they'll deal with losing Almiron, and Wilson, but they can't afford to lose Alexander Isak, can they?
No, they can't. The problem with Alexander Isak, if they lose Alexander Isak to a rival, it hinders him even more. I think, to be honest with you, I'm looking at the Alexander Isak situation, and if they lose Alexander Isak, I think that sets them back 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah,
at least, bro.
Do you know
that?
Do you know why 2 years? Because you got that guy from Sociedad. You made him one of the stars. You made him probably the second best striker or whatever you want to put him in the league. And he's scoring goals. And he's the face of the club at the moment. And you're forced to sell him. A lot of players will ask themselves questions before joining your club again. Well, because you're making yourself a stepping stone for whatever reason. FFP, you need money, blah, blah, blah. But if you go and ask for a top player, they will tell you, come on, you want me to join Newcastle, who is a stepping stone, while I get offered from an Arsenal or a Spurs or a Man City? No, I wouldn't want to do that. I think the one player that they cannot afford to lose, to be honest, is Isak. They can't afford to lose Isak under any circumstances. Even for 100 million, don't sell him.
I agree.
Even over Bruno Guimaraes? You think they would let Bruno 100%. Go before?
Alexander Isak is more important than Bruno Guimaraes.
I agree. Because the reason he's so important is because there's no goal scorers out there in the market. You've got one of the best ones in the world right now in Alexander Isak. You lose him, but you're not replacing him. And this is the thing, even if they got 130 million, 140 million, you're not replacing them goals with 140 million because there's no one out there, man. And even if there is, are they going to want to join Newcastle when you just sold your star? So I think Newcastle are in a bit of a weird position at the moment because, they've got some top players there, players that want to be playing Champions League football, players that want to be winning stuff. Isak, Bruno. We've already heard that Bruno's got a £100 million release clause in his contract. So clearly, players are already starting to think about, if this doesn't materialise in the next couple of years, and we're not regular getting Champions League football or challenging for trophies, then they may need to lose. You know what? If they did lose Isak, to say they had to sell Isak, right, because of FFP, they should sell him, right, and then release the biggest attack statement going. We've had to sell this player to a rival because of these anti-competitive laws. This is a completely broken situation, and they should just they should resist this. But if they have to, they should just sell him and then just cook these rules and just prove to everyone what a load of nonsense these rules are, because they are a load of nonsense. And this whole situation is proving it. The richest owners in world football, and they're not allowed to spend the money. They've got to sell some of the players. It's just a joke, man.
I'm not
Don't get Mo started.
I'm not going into this argument again. I have one question to respond to him, and people in the chat. We almost have 300 people, guys, and you aren't even hitting the like button. But I'm going to ask you a question, right? If we do what LB wants to do you think it's fair if the richest owners in the world, like Saudi Arabia, can spend 100 billion on Newcastle? Do you think it's competitive? Okay.
I didn't say. I actually disagree. That's not what I said, by the way.
Well. Let me finish.
Okay. But I didn't say that teams could spend 100 billion.
So what did you say? Say the sentence again so I can analyze it for you.
Well, I don't have the solution, but I actually don't agree with the fact that Chelsea can.
You said that you literally said, LB, they are hindering or they are stopping the richest club in the world from spending money, right?
That's correct. But then you just went and said LB wants them to spend 100 billion pound. I
think the translation of what you say exactly is that Newcastle should be allowed to spend whatever they want to strengthen their team. Is that
spend whatever
is that fair to say?
Well, yeah, with caveat with the situation that I don't.
What is the caveat?
The caveat is I don't think you should be able to spend £1 billion in 18 months.
So you think it should be a limit, but you disagree with the limit.
Yeah.
All right. So you agree with FFP.
I love that.
I think you should be able to spend a reasonable amount of money.
FFP, but you don't like the limit they have. So if they fix the limit, you'll be okay with FFP. That's what I'm hearing from you, bro.
No, because you're twisting the words there.
I am not actually. I'm not doing anything.
I don't think there should be any sort of
taking your words and translating them to the audience so they can understand what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never said that once. I think if you got the money, you should be able to spend the money.
Yes.
I think you should be able to spend the money if you've got the money.
See?
But I don't think you should be able to spend £1 billion in 18 months. Now, if you want to try and say you've got me, you caught me in 4K, fairs, but you ain't. I think you should be able to spend a lot of money.
Catching you.
If you want to spend 200 million,
I am not trying to catch you.
Spend 200 million.
I'm really trying to understand your logic.
My logic is you got the money, they got the money, yeah, and you're not even saying you can't spend it. You're now saying you've got to sell players.
No. They can spend it with limits. That's what it is. That's FFP.
I don't want there to be limits though. I want clubs to act like not like Chelsea and spend
£1 billion. Are they allowed to spend £1 billion a summer on players?
Well, ideally not.
All right. So you agree with FFP?
Only one club in the history has ever done that though, and that's Chelsea. And look how it's gone for them. So I doubt that's going to be replicated anytime soon.
Now we are putting, it didn't work for them, but what if it works for a team? I'm asking LB, listen, it's simple. I get where you're coming from. You have the money, you should be able to invest in your business. But also, I want competitiveness. I disagree with FFP. I'm with you because I think it hinders teams from doing that, right? I agree with you, LB. But I also, FFP is preventing clubs from going bankrupt, right? What we need to have is we need to have a competitive league that people are allowed to spend, but also we need to have limits. The reason why? Because there is no comparison between the Saudi owners and Brighton owners or even Spurs owners. These guys in Saudi Arabia they are trying to invest, if I'm not mistaken, 100 billion within 5 years in their league. So if you allow them to do that for Newcastle, they might go out and buy everybody and make it not competitive. No, and you might come back and say buying everyone might not win you the league, but it hinders competition. That's just logic.
Why? Why does it hinder competition?
I don't know how hard. Like for me, if they go and buy every single superstar out there,
they're not going to do that though, bro.
Exactly. Who says they won't?
Because they're just not going to do that.
Why? Who says they won't?
They're just not going to do that.
All right,
they're just not. You think they're going to go out there and buy Mbappe?
Yes.
And the next man, and the next man, and the next one.
Yes.
They're just not.
If you allow, and I'm telling you, if you allow a rich man to buy everything, and that's in business. If you allow a rich guy who is the richest in the world to crush competition, that's called capitalism, they will do it. They will do it to win everything. They might not do it to the limit.
How come City haven't bought Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, Ronaldo? How come we didn't buy any of them?
They might, because you're not allowed to, because you have FFP as well. And you are going within your budget as well. I know that they won't buy everyone, LB, but they will make sure to crush competition to a point that they win everything while everyone's still surviving. Well, people that keep saying every club has a rich owner, I know you guys say that, but there is a difference between rich and Saudi rich, and you know what I'm talking about. People know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I want to move on from this, LB, because we're never going to agree, me and you, because we actually agree on some points. But there is one point that I want the league to be competitive. I want limitations.
The league's more competitive than it's ever been.
It's not competitive. You are winning 5 leagues in a row. The league's not competitive.
The winner is irrelevant. The competitiveness lies within how the season goes. And the league right now is mad competitive.
Anyway, let's move on from FFP. I mean, who would have thought years ago we'd be talking about VAR and FFP so much? Just a couple of acronyms to do with not on the pitch. Guys, by the way, Mo did allude to it there. Smash the like button, people. There's over 352 of you in here, only 98 likes. We should have 300 likes. And I am now 101 subscribers away from 13K. I'm not expecting 100 subscribers, but if we can at least get that over the 12.9K in this episode, it would be amazing. And subscribe to Judge Mo and LB. I know both are flying with their subscribers as well at the moment. I'm giving you good content. Guys, let's talk about a club that are always good with their spending, a club that aren't in any sort of trouble at all. Let's talk about Man City. They are looking tongue-in-cheek there for anybody who before they sound twerking for City. News coming out today that Man City and West Ham are in talks over the sale of Calvin Phillips. Now, I don't know as much as you probably would on this one, LB. Are they talking to them about a loan deal? Is this a permanent deal? Is this a good move for West Ham? Good for City? What do you make of this?
Yeah, loan deal, no obligation to buy. It looks like they're covering all, if not all, of his wages. So it's good for City. Probably good for West Ham as well. You know what I mean? Beef up that midfield a little bit. Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for Phillips. Hopefully he'll play some football. And if he plays well, who knows? City could do very well in terms of getting some of our money back for him in the summer, because at the end of the day, he's only 28 years old, England international, Prem proven to a certain degree. So if he does well, then who knows? We might get some of that £40 million back. So yeah, I think it's a good deal all round, man. It's a good deal all round. Can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, Mo, do you agree? I mean, West Ham, they've got a very settled 11 when everyone's fit, but they also have a lot of football. For the last 3 or 4 years, I saw a stat that I think West Ham have played more football than any other team in Europe. I'm not sure if I saw that 100% correct, but they keep getting deep into European competitions. Their players are playing more minutes than any other players. It's just a good signing to help out with the likes of Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, and Souček.
How much? Calvin Phillips? How much?
It's a loan, isn't it?
It's a loan. It's not. Yeah, it's all right. Let him get some football so he can go to the Euros. I think it's a good signing for him, because I think they have 4 or 5 midfielders now, including Alvarez, Paqueta, the actual Souček, Ward-Prowse. They start the majority of the games. Good for him to go, to be honest. As you said, they play good football. They play a lot of football, and I think it suits him very, very well. I don't see any harm from it if it's loan, because he isn't going to fill a hole in the starting 11. He's just going for the bench, right? And maybe they could have gone for someone better than him at the moment, that someone who's playing football, but it doesn't look like any Premier League team will give them the player on loan. That's the thing about it. The difference between him and Timo Werner, because people will say that why did I slag the Timo Werner situation then, is that Spurs went for someone outside the league, right? But West Ham wants someone from inside the league. So nobody is going to loan you their midfielder from inside the league for free. No one is going to do that. And if you get a player from City that was coached under Pep Guardiola, I think it's very good for them. Very, very good for them, in my opinion.
And it's not like he's going to a team, LB, that are, you're not giving him to Arsenal or Spurs
Well, apparently City were happy to do that anyway. Pep Guardiola come out and said, if you're not willing to loan or sell players to your rivals, then you're a small club. So yeah, rumor has it we were willing to let him go to Liverpool in the summer if they wanted him, but I don't think they didn't want him in the end, or weren't willing to pay the fee or whatever. So yeah, listen, it's like I say, it's a good deal all around, and I just hope the guy plays, man, because he's had a rough 18 months, lads. He's had a rough 18 months. And obviously the Euros are coming up. Great opportunity for him to play.
I mean, he was really good at Leeds. I mean, in terms of what they did, they were a high octane team. They didn't really defend very well, but they went forward, and he was the midfield enforcer that was left with a lot of work to do. Had a great Euros playing alongside Declan Rice. It's a chance for him to rejuvenate himself and get a signing to a club like West Ham. It's a good chance for him, though, right? Really good chance.
To be honest, it's very good to revive the guy's career. He's not that old. I think he's 24, if I'm not mistaken. 25.
No, 28 years.
28? He's 4 years older than Declan Rice. So he needs to fix his career, because the next contract is the only big contract he's going to get.
Yeah.
And he needs to go to the Euros as well for England if he is going to go. But I'm afraid he's not going to play that much. That's the problem. He might play in Europa League, but he might not play as much in the Premier League. But again, he needs any minutes, because he isn't getting any minutes at Manchester City.
Even
Even
when Rodri was out.
Very good. You know that for Man City, this is a very good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I want to talk about Liverpool. Before we do, I just want to quickly ask you, I've seen a lot of debates on Sky today and BT about the German league. Just really, really quickly, I want to touch upon it. And obviously there's a lot of memes going around about Harry Kane. He's left Tottenham for big money to go and join Bayern Munich to a farmers league, guaranteed to win a league title with Bayern Munich because they win it every year. Bayern Munich he scored like 30 odd goals for them already. He's breaking records, but they're 7 points off of Bayer Leverkusen. There's massive unrest. The fans don't want Tuchel. They don't like his tactics. Do we feel sorry for Harry Kane in any sort of way, or is this funny?
I'm laughing at something else. I know where it's going, LB. You know where it's going.
What?
Thomas Tuchel. 7 points on Leverkusen.
No,
I know where this is going, LB.
What do you mean? You know where this is going?
Fans don't want Tuchel because he isn't a good coach.
Better than Poch. That's what you want to do this again. We can do this again.
Oh, is that what he was getting at?
He isn't a good coach.
No, if you want to do this again, we can do it again. But
let's
not do that again because we do that every week, man.
So is Mo saying that Tuchel's better than Poch?
No, the other way around.
Oh, you think Poch is better than Tuchel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. In the chat, while we're talking, let me know right now. Give me one word. If you could have a manager in charge of your club right now, forget who your current manager is. The only choices are Thomas Tuchel or Mauricio Pochettino. Champions League winner versus French League winner. Who are we going for? Go on, LB. Kane, the situation. Is this guy just a curse on no one being in England, Spurs, Bayern now? I mean, I'm not saying they won't win the league, but it's a tall order. Leverkusen haven't lost a game all year.
Yeah, they've not. They've got a game in hand, so win that, and then what are they behind them? Four.
Four. So just the 2 games, yeah.
So you need to then be beating. They play Leverkusen on the 10th of February at Leverkusen. So Bayern got to win that game. It's quite simple. They win that game.
It's at Leverkusen.
At Leverkusen, 10th of Feb. Yeah, tune in to that. They need to win that game. So listen, you know, I get why Bayern fans are panicking at the moment. I want the manager out because obviously this isn't good. But at the end of the day, you beat them. You're 1 point behind, 4 points behind, or whatever. You'll be 1 point behind. You can still win this league. No matter how you win it, you win the league. You win the league. So, but yeah, man, it's disappointing if Kane don't win anything this year, bro. That is, the guy just retire from football, man. That's absolutely incredible, mate. Because I felt like one of the reasons he went there, was just to farm that Bundesliga, and at least he's got a trophy to show. People were like, but it's only the Bundesliga. But at least he's got something to show for it. But if he doesn't win it this year, my God, maybe the curse is real.
I think he's just unlucky. He's scoring goals left and right. The problem is Bayern Leverkusen haven't lost the game. They drew only 3 games, people, out of 17 games or 18 games. It's crazy, actually. 18 games, winning 15, drawing 3. It's crazy. That doesn't happen often in the Bundesliga. But again, Alonso's doing it. I think Harry Kane is doing his job. He's scoring goals left and right. As far as I'm hearing, every time I'm turning my eyes to the Bundesliga, it's Harry Kane scoring a goal or 2 or assisting. Well, he's just unlucky. He's a brilliant player. And you know why I don't like this thing that people like to slag Harry Kane off? Like, they like to talk bad about him for some reason because he played for Spurs. And I have no agenda. I'm just watching Harry Kane. He's a fantastic footballer that all the people that talk bad about him would cry to have him at their club. Everybody around the world, from the Real Madrids all the way to the Sheffield United, people would pay everything to have a Harry Kane at your club, and you know it. You just lie to yourself to laugh and to banter. But the reality is, everybody would love a Harry Kane. I would love a Harry Kane at my club, and you guys know it's not his fault, right? He didn't move. Now he moved to a big club, and he's scoring goals left and right. And right.
Well, the fans at Bayern Munich aren't very happy, Mo. They're saying that whenever Kane is playing, that he's dropping so deep and he's not actually in the penalty box. But I'm going to put this out there. I don't know if anyone has watched Tottenham closely in England for the last 3 or 4 years. That's what Harry Kane has molded into. Harry Kane for years hasn't been a number 9 like Erling Haaland, who's in the box. He is playing deep. He is dropping deep, creating. I just don't know whether it's got so far down the path that he can't get that out his system now, guys. I don't know whether or not. Is this Harry Kane? Is it too
bought him knowing that, Savva.
I agree.
Think that
I agree.
Thomas Tuchel and Bayern Munich, it's not only Thomas Tuchel's decision. Bayern Munich is a well-run club. They bought him knowing what they're getting. They aren't going to Harry Kane and saying, well, we're buying you and you are playing as a center back. No, they know who they are buying. Like, they know that Kane plays like this, drops it. They scouted the guy. It's not that Harry Kane is an unknown player. Come on, give me a break, people. People are like, they know that they're buying a striker that drops deep and gets you goals and assists. If they wanted a true number 9, they could have offered 100 million for somebody else. They offered 100 million or 80 million pounds for someone like Harry Kane, who they know they are getting. People just like to complain. If he's not scoring goals, people can complain. But the guy is getting, he's gonna break the record.
By the way, I wasn't putting Bayern Munich down to him. I just think it's sort of like a cruel kind of, he's left Tottenham because everyone said he's got to go to a massive club. I was one of them. Got to go to a massive club. He's got to go and win a league. And they're sitting there with what? I mean, there's not as many games in the German league, if I'm not wrong. Aren't there less teams in the German league? They've got, here we go. If we look at the German league table, where are we? Bundesliga. So there's only 18 teams. So what's that? 34 games over the season. So they've got 16 games left. And at the moment, they've got a game in hand, but at the moment, it's a 3-game swing. At the moment, they've got a 3-game swing on Bayern Munich.
I just don't think Bayern Munich are that good, Sav. I've watched them a few times this year.
I agree.
I just don't think they're that good. This is why when people ask me about who I think are our main title, like challenges in Europe this year, it's like, I put Bayern
blow them away.
Up there. But we blew them away last year, man. We absolutely destroyed them. I think you look at the team, I mean, the Upamecano, he's crap, man. He's absolutely crap. Guerrero, it says here he was playing in midfield. I thought he was a left back. Don't know what's going on there. De Ligt's not really done much since he's gone there.
No.
I just look at the team and go, there are quite a lot of players in there. And then obviously you've got the likes of what's it called? Goretzka coming off the bench. Choupo-Moting still there. They've just signed Dyer. I just don't think. I think they're a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're great. I watched them match day one, or not match day one. I watched the Super Cup thing when they played against was it Leipzig? Leipzig absolutely tore him a new one.
Yeah,
Harry Kane,
yeah.
I think Harry Kane played, or he come off the bench. He looked shocked. He was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Do you know what I mean? I forget the lad who scored. It was the Spanish Donny, left winger. He scored a hat-trick. And I watched him a few times. I watched him against Man United, very average. I would say we destroyed them last year. The only good thing that they've got going for them is their attacking lineup is scary.
Yeah, they're good in moments, aren't they? But you would expect that with Sane, Musiala, Gnabry, Kane. You would expect that in moments they're going to be frightening. But when I watched them play, they used to dominate. Like they used to completely dominate when they had, when they had some top players in there like Philip Lahm and who was the other Spanish central midfielder they used to have. But they haven't got it, have they? And it's not going well
Thomas
for
Tuchel.
them.
It's literally Thomas Tuchel. I swear. People just don't believe that. It's Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel doesn't have a style of play. Thomas Tuchel is someone who tightens defenses and then plays in phases. He isn't a dominant coach like Pep Guardiola, like Jurgen Klopp, like even Hansi Flick, like these guys. He doesn't like to dominate. Like he doesn't do that often. You see them have holes all the time. People just think that if you ask me what is Bayern Munich, LB just said he's watching them. He's like, what is Bayern Munich? What are you doing? You're not as dominant as we've seen you over the years. It's just how Thomas Tuchel is. And he was like this at Chelsea. People ask, what is Chelsea's style of play? You can't tell. He stayed 2 years or a year and a half. Yes, he won the Champions League. Fantastic. But he isn't someone who builds a system. He's a cup coach that can manage individual games, but doesn't know how to build a system that will win you 38 games or will win you 30 games out of the rest. He isn't going to dominate. He isn't going to impose his style of play every game, but he will be able to manage a cup game very, very well. And he did at Chelsea. That's what won them the Champions League.
I don't. You know what, Mo? I don't even disagree with that. I don't think Tuchel is the right appointment for Bayern Munich, and I'd be surprised if he's there next season. They need to go back to what brought them success. They need to get a better midfield, man. That midfield is ass. They need to get a midfield, and obviously Kimmich apparently wants to leave as well. They need to get a proper DM, someone who can play proper football. Someone like Rodri would be perfect for them, but hopefully he don't go there. And get back to dominating football matches. Dominate, pass the ball. I remember when Bayern Munich come to the Etihad, and to this day, it's one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen from a team playing against City. We couldn't get the ball off them. They beat us like 2-0 or 3-0 or something. But yeah, we couldn't get the ball off them. They just passed us off the pitch. And they seem to have abandoned that a little bit and gone for more. They've gone for a bit more P&P. You remember when they had like Robben and Ribery on the wings and they used to hold the ball, like really, really difficult to get the ball. And obviously, who did they have in the middle? Maybe Schweinsteiger and whoever else. And now,
top players, yeah.
Yeah, but
back
now
in the days, Salah Hamzic, oh my God, it's just to be Bayern.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich.
Thomas Muller, when he was like, obviously he's older now, but Thomas Muller,
2010,
Lewandowski,
Xabi Alonso,
Xabi Alonso.
Well, they've abandoned that style, in my opinion, and gone for more P&P. So you got Sane, Coleman, Gnabry, Musiala even can fall into that bracket because he likes to drive with it rather than being an out-and-out passer of the ball. Probably the only one in there that I can think of off the top of my head that really suits it in sort of the midfield is probably Kimmich and Kane, to be fair. But the rest of the team, I don't know. I just feel like Bayern Munich have maybe abandoned their principles over the years, and yeah, they're nowhere near where they used to be, man. And if we got them again in the Champions League, I expect an equally dominant performance to what we did last year. We tore them apart last year, man. It was embarrassing. So let's see what they're up to. But yeah, it's not looking good. And if you don't win the league there this year, man, Kane, bro, what's going on? It's wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, let me get to a couple of super chats before we do. Guys and girls, we've got to get the likes up. The likes are absolutely shocking. Come on, we should be on 250 minimum, running on 135. Smash that like button. Subscribe to Mo. Subscribe to LB. Their links are in the show description. So please go and subscribe. And if anyone in my chat would be so kind to go and find their links and whack them in, that would be absolutely brilliant. Please do that. Couple of super chats. We've got one here from Wathi. So back in the FFP conversation. Thank you so much, Wathi. Has said FFP hasn't stopped bankruptcy. Bury, Reading, etc. So yes, so Bury went bankrupt, right? But Reading haven't yet. But they are in a mess, right? Reading, every game, their fans are protesting during the game, before the game, after the game, throwing, I don't know, tennis balls onto the pitch. And I don't know, it's just all gone a bit mad. But you're right. At the moment, I don't know who FFP is actually helping. But let's not open that can of worms. And EMMC has said he is not him. I think we're talking about Kane here. I think we're saying Kane isn't that player, right? Is how I interpret that.
Yes.
Never scored goals of consequence. Look, it's the one thing I always said about Kane. Listen, I can never not carry Kane as a player. He's world class. The one thing I always said was in semis, in finals, in the biggest of biggest games. I'm not talking about North London derbies. I'm talking about the semis and the finals for England and for Tottenham. When you want a player to go, you know what, this is my day today. I'm going to be the difference maker. He didn't quite do it. So we'll see if he can do that with Bayern Munich. One thing we do know, he puts the biscuit in the basket. So big up to you. Thanks, EMMC. Talking about a club that can put the biscuit in the basket, boys. I'll start with you, Mo. Liverpool 4-0. Big game. It was a game to go 5 points clear of Man City or risk Man City overtaking them in the next game. They did. They went 5 points clear. They've created a gap of 8 points to Spurs in fifth. So Champions League football looks kind of nailed on unless they collapse. Are Liverpool being written off too soon for this title? Are Liverpool better than I think most of us probably gave them credit for after they had that kind of midfield revamp?
Yeah, no. Liverpool have been the most consistent team in the league. They haven't produced the performances of like, wow, you're going to win the league. But they have been very consistent. The dip we saw from them is drawing 2 games against Arsenal and Manchester United. Otherwise, they have been very consistent. Well, to be honest, Liverpool fans didn't like what I said yesterday when I said the first half was even. The second half, Bournemouth got tired, and then you scored after the first goal. I knew that you would blow them away, and that's what a big team does. Well, Liverpool, I keep saying Liverpool are the most consistent team. Are they favorites to win the league? Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if they keep winning until they reach the City game, which is the only tough game at that time is Arsenal away at the Emirates. And we have seen Liverpool play well away from home this season. The way they played against Manchester City and the way against Chelsea. I actually believe that Liverpool might go to the Emirates and get a result. If they do that and go to play Manchester City with 2 points ahead, I think we know that Manchester City normally don't win at Anfield. And Liverpool will go to the game favorites. I think Liverpool at that time will be favorites to win the league if they are 5 points ahead of City with 10 games left. I think Liverpool now have one of the things that I noticed in this game is the last point I'm gonna make is that we were worried. I'm a neutral about the bench of Liverpool and how people will play. The way Curtis Jones has played, the way Darwin Núñez has played, the way Gomez has played is proven that, well, it's not doom and gloom from the bench, from the second string players when the Szoboszlais aren't there, when the Salahs aren't there. Well, we are playing well. When Indo's not there, McAllister's stepping up. So for me, to be honest, that game yesterday, apart from the result, I will take away from it is that you can rely on other players than you're just superstars that you call superstars. That's the takeaway.
LB, we're not going to talk about Darwin Núñez due to circumstances this morning about Darwin Núñez. But look, Mo is spot on. When you look at Liverpool, there was lots of talk about, it's kind of a rebuild for them in terms of their midfield, essentially. Is Gravenberch good enough? Is Endo good enough? Is McAllister good enough? Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott were being talked about not being good enough at all. They've done really well. They don't lose games of football.
Yeah. Most spot on. They've been consistent all season. Next two games for me are massive. Chelsea and Arsenal. If they get 6 points there, they've got to get the chests out then. Liverpool fans got to get the chests out. Liverpool as a football club got to get the chests out and say, you know what, we can win this league. Which some of them are doing, but some of them are a little bit cautious. Understand so, but if you win the next two games without key players, it's on big time. So get 6 points there. And yeah, they'll feel that they can go on and win this league. But listen, I said at the start of the season, I said Liverpool will be our main title challengers. I said that. I know it's not a massive shock to me to see them here challenging, to be honest with you. So they just need to keep doing what they're doing. The players will go up for it. Yeah, they're chilling, man. They're chilling. Just win these next two games. And
it's scared at all?
That's an
honest question.
I'm more scared about Liverpool than Arsenal.
Are you worried that they can actually win the league this year? Because you were clear favorites, and Liverpool, as Savva said, they were rebuilding. We didn't know how they're going to score goals without Mohamed Salah. Now we didn't know how Van Dijk will play. Are you a little bit worried that they might stop your 4-peat?
A little bit. I still think we'll win the league. I'm still confident we're going to win the league, but. First of all, I thought it was massively overblown, Salah leaving for AFCON. I said to Hussam, man, on our stream that we did, that I didn't think they would struggle as much as people were making out without Mohamed Salah. And I think Jota coming back in that's great timing. He's cooking again. So yeah, a little bit worried. I still think we'll win the league, but listen, they're a good team, man. And
when will you be not worried? Will you be really worried? Do you think the Liverpool game? Do you think if they start winning more, you will be worried?
If they win the next two games, I'll be like, it's on.
Really? Oh,
yeah. If they win the next two games, I'm like, right, this is serious now.
Just 2 games make a break. Because you said something about you winning the Newcastle game is a massive hurdle for you. You had to win that game.
Yeah.
So you think that the next 2 games for Liverpool, who do you play in the next 2 games?
Chelsea at home, Arsenal away.
Oh, no. It's after the cup.
Oh, yeah. Cup games aside, yeah.
Yeah, so they win these 2 games. You're saying now we have to take them seriously.
No, I'm taking them seriously anyway.
I'm not as worried as if they win these 2 games. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment, man. Like I said, just to clarify, I am taking them seriously already. I'm slightly worried that they could do something. But if they win the next 2 games, man, for me, that's big. Going to the Emirates and winning. I think people are saying that their record against Chelsea is draw. All they ever do is draw. So again, they've got to try and overcome that. So yeah, listen, this is a big test for Liverpool, a big test. These are not going to be easy games. People will look at Chelsea in 9th and go, "That'll be an easy game." It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy game, man. It's going to be a tough game. But if they win them both, like I say, I think that will give them such a boost in confidence, man.
Let me ask you then, from looking at the league table there, everyone can see it. As I said, the key thing for me as a Spurs fan is that now Liverpool have opened up an 8-point gap between them and us. Do you think that Liverpool, 48 points, Man City realistically should win their game in hand, take them to 46? Are they discounting Spurs and Villa and Arsenal at the title race at this stage? I know it's still close, but are we going to start to see those 2 pull away, Mo? Can Villa or Spurs or Arsenal still win it, or is it going to come from Liverpool and City?
At the moment, I don't believe anybody can win it other than Man City and Liverpool, to be honest. Me seeing Arsenal win 5-0 against Crystal Palace at home it's not an indication of that Arsenal are back in it, right? It's still 3 points. So I need to see Arsenal win multiple games. Listen, if they win against Liverpool, I think that's completely different. But at the moment, I don't see anybody winning it. Maybe, of course, anybody can win it, Savva. Like Spurs can win the league. Aston Villa can win the league. But will they do it? Will I put any money on it? Not really. To be honest, I actually think that it's Liverpool and Man City. Unless, listen, I don't see anybody beating Man City if they open up a 5-point gap between them and Arsenal, Spurs, and Villa, than Liverpool. That's simple as that. Like, Kevin De Bruyne coming back, Haaland is gonna come back. I think missed a big chance, bro. Missed a big chance against West Ham and Fulham.
Talk to me though. The gap between Spurs and Liverpool right now, and we talked about this earlier, LB, on Said's show. It now means that with 17 games to go, Mo, if Liverpool were to win, and I'm being conservative, if Liverpool were to win 12 of their 17 games they've got left, it means Spurs have to win 15.
I said that yesterday on the show. So
yesterday it's a big ask, isn't it? It's a big ask.
Arsenal and Spurs, Arsenal to win the league, they need to win 14 games out of the last 17 games they have left, including away at Man City, because they are direct competitor to you. At least. Do you see Arsenal winning 14 games out of the last 17 games? That means they are on the run that they did last year, which is 50 points. I don't see it. I don't see Spurs winning 15 games because you are 3 points behind Arsenal. And I don't see Villa winning 14 games out of 17 games. It's as simple as that. But I see Manchester City winning 13 games or 14 games out of the last 18. Well, so it's a simple...
Because at the moment, it's skewed because of the game you've got in hand, LB. But let's assume you win that. At the moment, you've got a 1-game swing, right? So whatever Liverpool do between now and the end of the season, you just need to do 1 win better. There's a huge difference between that, and this is probably more to have something to talk about for the majority of Spurs fans that are in the chat. 8 points is just too big a gap, right, to turn over from this position, isn't it? I mean, we can never say never, but can you see Spurs doing 3 games better off than Liverpool?
Nah, not now. To be honest with you, like I was putting Spurs in that title race because for me, you're in the title race until you're not. But the draw against United was a letdown. You know what I mean? Two points drop there, in my opinion. Good performance. I said we knew what was going to happen, though, didn't we, Savva? We said Spurs would be the better team, but you won't win.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just surprised you got a point because I thought you'd lose the game. But we knew exactly what was going to happen. Spurs would be a better team. But you wouldn't win the game. So, yeah, I think the title's out of reach for you guys now. Top 4 is probably the aim. And, yeah, I'm with Mo. I think Liverpool or City will win the league, one of the two. I think City will win the league, but I think Liverpool or City will be in the race.
And Mo, let me ask you, I'm just going to quickly bring that league table up again. There seems to be a tiny bit of a gap forming between Tottenham and West Ham, and then an even bigger gap back to Man United. From your point of view, is it literally for the top 4 now? It is between that top 5. Can West Ham, Man U, Brighton, can any of them force their way into it?
No, West Ham got robbed. But no, I don't see Brighton. No, I don't see anybody. And West Ham will not break into the top 5. I think this top 5 is already formed. I think this is how it's going to look. I'm not sure it's going to finish 4th, though, at the moment. But I would say that Aston Villa will finish 5th, in my opinion. They are starting to drop some points. Yeah, in my opinion, away from home especially. So I actually think that it's going to be between Spurs and Arsenal to finish 3rd. So I don't see Man United or Chelsea, because a lot of Chelsea fans are saying, well, coming for that 5th spot. It's like you're 12 points behind.
Yeah, they're 12 points behind. They're in decent form, Chelsea, in terms of 4 wins in 5, but it's tough because then for them, they'd need to win the next 3 or 4 in a row to really be talking about being up there in that position.
I'm really intrigued about one thing, which is before we move on from this, about Spurs when Maddison comes back and they're fully fit, when Bissouma. The reason why I'm saying that, in the first 10 games, Spurs won 8, draw 2. So can they replicate that? in the last 15 games if they have everybody fit. Is that doable though? The reason why I'm saying that is that can Spurs put the separation between them and the fourth and the fifth if they go on a run? Can they do this? Can they get closer?
What, as in to finish third?
Finish third with a separation, not waiting until the last game or the last two games.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's what
So we're
I'm
talking
really
about being
intrigued
5,
about
6,
that,
7 points clear
Yeah,
of
I'm
Villa and
intrigued
Arsenal.
about that because just because of the form that you were in the beginning of the season for a quarter of that season, for 10 games, you were up with City. Remember, City won the first 6 games. You drew 2 games and won 8. So I'm really looking at Spurs for, not because I'm with you, but I keep saying that there is no reason for me to think that Spurs won't be the same as before the injuries.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, you have got that as well, but also Friday night's game causes some. The last thing I want to talk about will be Friday night's game is going to change maybe the way the league goes as well, because if Tottenham lose, we'll look at both sides before anyone thinks I'm saying we're going to lose. If Tottenham lose the game, we'll be the only club up there in that top 5 that are no longer in Europe. If I'm not wrong, Liverpool, City, Villa and Arsenal all still in Europe, right? We'll be the only team that aren't in a cup, whether that be domestic
Cup,
or
local,
European, right? We'll be playing once a week. Equally, if we lose, then you've got less games. And does it seem better for Man City to go on and win the title? Do you think Friday's game has any bearing to that effect on either of these two club seasons, Spurs and City?
Maybe Spurs. I don't know. You're probably more qualified to speak about that than me. For City, absolutely no difference. I don't think it makes any difference whatsoever whether or not we're in that FA Cup or not.
Really? You don't want to win a treble?
No, that's not what the question was. You need to listen to the question, bro. The question was, will City losing impact us maybe getting better for the Premier League? Our answer to that is no.
All right.
Because I think we've dealt with this before.
I heard
you know what I mean?
something else. I heard something. Does City take the game? Like,
no. Of course, I want to win it. Of course, I'd like to win the treble.
All right.
In terms of will it help us being in it? Will it help us being out of it? Makes not one difference in my opinion. Don't change anything for me. We got to score a goal first.
Interesting. Well, look, let's talk about that game then. Mo, I'll start with you because obviously I've got invested interest in it. LB's got invested interest in it, and you can look at it from a neutral. Tottenham Hotspur versus Man City, FA Cup at our stadium at White Hart Lane. I'll always call it that. Friday night under the lights. City have struggled to score at our ground. They haven't scored at our new ground yet. I said last night on my biggest show of the week, which is the Spurs review, that I think that Spurs will just get narrowly edged out of it. Didn't go down very well with the Spurs fans. Lots of Spurs fans thinking we're going to win. How do you see this game going, Mo?
I think you'll lose because of the style of play against Manchester City. I think you will open up the lines, and I think they will score some goals. But I think it's going to be a narrow game, in my opinion. Well, the question that I'm looking at this game is that how is Pep Guardiola going to approach this game? Is he going to play his starting 11? Well, they didn't have a game in the last week. They won't have a game until, if I'm not mistaken, midweek, the week after, right? Is he going to play his starting 11? Because the game after for Manchester City, if I'm not mistaken, is Wednesday or something like that. Wednesday. So he might be resting players. He might be really.
It's a 5-6 game. It's a 5-6 day. Break, isn't it? I mean, it's Friday night through to Wednesday night.
You think he's going to play starting 11? Pep Guardiola, I don't remember Pep Guardiola ever playing his best 11 in a cup game. Ever.
I think he'll go strong. Okay, he might not start 1 or 2 players, but I think he goes very strong here. We have got what, Saturday,
Kevin De Bruyne is going to start, for example?
Potentially.
Do you think Grealish is going to start?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
That's your third choice left wing right there. So
okay,
I'm being serious. So he won't start his first 11.
Okay, right. Okay, you want to play that game? Okay, well,
yes,
he's gonna go strong.
But your second 11 are very strong.
He's gonna go strong. Yeah.
All right. I think this game, he might send a message to the player that, well, Pep Guardiola never does that, right? But he might send his second string team, which is your second string team is still amazing, right? It's still
you're talking about Rodri, De Bruyne,
So I'm thinking he
Foden.
might rest De Bruyne, for example. Might play Alvarez behind. He
Mm.
might rest these 2, 3, 4 players from the team. You know, he might rest Gavardio, stuff like that. You know
The
what I
only
mean?
reason he might not play De Bruyne is because he's not started a game yet.
Yes.
So he might rest him and then think, you know what, give him 30 minutes and then start him against Burnley at home. It's at home. It's probably a less intense football match. But I mean, he's going to go strong. He's going to go strong in the game.
You know what? I'm not worried about City. Do you know how I'm watching this game as a neutral? Should Spurs go like everybody else say, go strong in the cup? You have to win a trophy. You have to. If you win a trophy, you will taste it and all this crap that people talk about. Or is it we have a lot of injuries? We're still not very deep in the squad. We have players in AFCON. We need to focus in the league because this top 4 thing, it's a make or break for our club. We are that close to making Champions League football again with a new manager, with a new players. Should we just take this game easy a little bit and rest some players?
No, that's an L mentality, Mo. We need to get away from this for Spurs. Spurs need to start having some W mentality and think, you know, we actually are not some football club, that can only compete 1 game a week. You know, we're not talking about some minnows. This is a serious football club. This is a big football club. What they need to start doing is saying, no, we are a serious club. We want to be in the competitions. You can't just be saying, let's not take it seriously and focusing on the league. That's just a ridiculous statement. They've got to start, that mentality, has to be eradicated from the Spurs fan base. You've got to start actually going for stuff and winning stuff, man. Otherwise, you're never going to win anything.
They don't have as much money as you to spend and get a lot.
It don't matter about money. It's about mentality. They've
Well,
got to get away from this.
They don't have as deep as a squad as you.
I know they don't. But
they don't have Pep Guardiola, bro. They don't have Pep Guardiola.
Oh, just sack it off then, innit? No point in entering the competitions.
No, but for me to be honest, you don't think that there's fourth play if this is going to hinder their chances of top 4?
No.
Really?
Can I ask? Let me ask why this notion that if footballers are asked to play 2 games in a week, it's the difference between Spurs getting top 4 or not. Bearing in mind, our next game is Wednesday. I believe. Hang on, our next game is the 31st of Jan, which I believe is Wednesday, right? Mm-hmm. So that means you've then got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You've got 5 full days before the game. Should Spurs be looking 5 days ahead and saying, hang on, we're going to rest all the players for that game? Or should we be going all out for it?
You're right. You're absolutely right. You are right. It's just a very intense game against Manchester City. But yeah, I get what you're saying. 5 days should be good enough for players to recover. So yeah, you shouldn't be looking at that. The problem is you play Friday, Wednesday, Saturday.
And this is what Spurs want. These Spurs fans want to be
playing
Friday,
they
Saturday,
don't have
the squad.
They don't have. No, they have a lot of injuries and people out. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I get it, but it's about for me.
Like, that's one of the problems. Asking a football player to play 3 intense games in 1 week in 7 days is a lot,
right? And this is what they want to get used to. Spurs want to be winning trophies. They want to be going far in competitions. Everyone has to deal with it. So you have to deal with it. Liverpool have to deal with it.
It's just unlucky that they haven't. Anyway, I'm not going to into this because they have a lot of injuries, LB, and they have a lot of players out.
I know they do.
All right.
It's get used to it. Get used to it for me.
Not everybody is blessed like Man City, LB. Let's just put it this way.
Well, the thing is, they're talking about Maddison being back. Dragashin's in. Timo Werner's in.
What's Maddison saying? Is he back?
Well, yeah, they're saying he's going to be back fit. Kulusevski, who was ill for the Man United game, he's back. So when you look at it, who is out? When you look at Spurs, who is out? We've got Bissouma and Sarr with the AFCON.
Yeah.
And Son for the Asian Cup. Other than that, is there anybody? I don't know. Spurs fans in the chat. My mind's gone blank. But Ben Davies is not.
Yeah, I got the list there. You got Davies, Lo Celso, Solomon, Sessegnon, and Scarlett.
Right, the other ones. Right. So from that, you've probably got Lo Celso, who's, let's be fair, when everyone's fit, isn't the first.
You
name
literally
on the
have
sheet.
3. Savva. You literally have 3 fit midfielders available. Skip Højbjerg and Bentancur. That's it.
No. That's not it though. You've just missed out the Celso and Kulusevski.
The Celso's injured.
Okay,
the forward. I'm talking about
Kulusevski.
midfielders. Oh,
yeah, but hang on, no. But Kulusevski's been playing. In that free. So look. For me, I think LB's right. what Spurs can't do is we can't go into this game as a club that haven't won a trophy for 16 years and say, oh, but there's a chance of top 4, because we've had top 4 before, by the way. And nothing's come of it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's great at the time, and it's good for bragging rights. And, oh, my God, we got the Champions League music. But we've never kicked on from it. Do you know what I mean? We've never got to a Champions League season and gone, let's go and buy 3 or 4 top players and really, really try and kick on. We get top 4 and stop. So, for me, would you finish top 4? For me, I'm both. Why does it have to be one or the other?
Both is good. But if I ask you to choose one, what would you choose?
The FA Cup.
All right, then. You answered
if I had to choose, it would be the FA Cup.
You answered it.
Yeah, if I had to choose.
Wigan won the Carabao Cup before you.
Wigan won the FA Cup.
The FA Cup. So people just keep talking about these cups, and I think that making Champions League for a club like Spurs is very important at the moment. Like Newcastle, for example.
Listen, do you know what the problem is? Again, I'll go back to it. I've heard this for so many years as a Spurs fan, that top 4 is more important. I don't know if people have looked. In the last 15, 20 years, we've actually finished top 4 a lot.
Yes.
And we're still sitting here saying top 4 is more important than a trophy. Top 4 is more. Yes. At what point does it become? Yeah,
at this moment of time, yes, Savva. That's my opinion, by the way.
I'm just asking why.
New manager, new manager that is playing very, very well. You want to attract stars for this guy to do his, because I believe this guy, I'm looking from outside, if you get him better players, he will do wonders with them. Based on what I saw for 21 games.
Sure.
The way to attract top talent is not only by winning a cup. There is no top talent that comes into the Premier League and thinks, well, but this team won the cup last year. The talents look, am I going to play Champions League? Where am I going to play the next season? That's what a top talent is. This is the only way I'm looking at it. This is the only way I'm looking at it.
I agree with you 100%, Mo. I'm going to come back with 2 different points, though. Just a different way of looking at it.
Please do.
From a fan's perspective, we haven't won anything for 16 years, right? So from a fan's perspective, at what point do we're the life, like you're the life of Inter Milan, right? The Inter Milan fans, Man City fans are the life of Man City. We're the life of Tottenham. At what point don't we want to win a trophy? Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying that that Spurs will guarantee to win an FA Cup. Not at all. But I'd be devastated if we play Man City at home and we don't put out a full strength team because we've got a game in 5 days' time. For me, I don't see any need for that. And the second point of what you said, players might be attracted to the Champions League, but Spurs have never used it as a springboard to do that. We've never used
the same point. Like if Spurs, you believe there may be with the new manager and that seems things might be changing, but Spurs have never done what Mo is right. If they did what they should do, maybe Mo would be right. If they got the Champions League and they went right, we stopped signing all these like mid-level players. We're going to go and try and attract the best players, and we're going to.
That's exactly what my point.
But they don't do that.
I hear you. I agree with
that. Though, Mo. Spurs have never done this,
so they're losers then.
Unfortunately, under this owner of
they're losers then. If you get a manager like this that play football like this, and you make a Champions League, and you don't go get the guy, the top talent, you're just a loser.
To a certain degree, you're right.
Just a loser then.
Well, the thing that I would say is, I don't know. Maybe
I said the same. By the way, I said the same about my club. By the way, about Inter. By the way,
just before you get cut off the chat. No. I agree to a certain degree. Now, maybe things are going to change with this manager because I don't think he takes no nonsense. Yeah, I think he'll want better players. But you know, the problem that Spurs fans have, Mo, is, and the reason why a lot of Spurs fans want the trophies is because they have no faith that if they get the Champions League, anything's going to be different to last time.
It's sad, isn't it? It's sad.
It's very sad, yeah, for them. It's incredibly sad. My things to them would be just hope that this new manager changes the way that club is run in terms of transfer and like the way it's operated. So I don't know. Let's see. But
that's why me looking at it from outside, Savva, I'm not a Spurs fan.
No, of course, no. I like it.
I'm looking at it from like.
Well, Mo, I agree with you.
That's for my club. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I agree with you, and it's how it should be run. My concern is, okay, go and get top 4 this year. But by the way, I've already stated at the beginning, I don't see a reason why it has to be one or the other.
Yes,
right? This is purely for people's argument, right? Yes. But for me, if we get top 4, great. Then stop buying 20-year-old kids, right? If you go and get top 4, we've bought loads of kids now. It looks like we're going to try and get this Antonio Nusa in. You've bought in Dragashin, who's 21, Adogi's 20, Van der Ven's 22. Brilliant. If you get Champions League, stop doing that now. Go and add 3 or 4 players that you go, now help us compete in 4 trophies. That's what I want to see. If we do that, fine. But what I don't want to see from Spurs fans, Mo, and this is what Spurs fans are brilliant at, guys, is if we get knocked out, and I'm not saying we will, if we get knocked out, it'll be, we had other things to concentrate on. I hate that. I absolutely hate that, because before the game, I'll ask everyone right now in the chat, what's the score going to be? Tottenham at home to Man City. Please don't put a score. Put Tottenham 2, Man City 2, or whatever you think, so I know who you think. Spurs fans have become very good at this, guys. This year, every game, we're going to batter everyone. Every game before a game, it's, give me your scores. 4-0, 5-0, 4-1, 3-1. Very rarely do we batter anyone. We've battered Newcastle and we've battered Burnley. Every other game has been tight. Every other game has been tight. So what I don't want to see from Spurs fans is all of these wild predictions. City are rubbish at our ground. City hate playing us. And then if we do go out, but, you know, don't worry. Bullshit. It doesn't matter.
It's bullshit, bro. I hate
agree.
This. When people say, but City haven't scored ever in the Tottenham Stadium. Well, they have new players, and you have new players, you have new managers. It's a completely new game. Do people really believe that a football player going to Man City, to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, thinking, by the way, we never scored there. We have never scored there. We aren't going to score today. I promise you, I played football, and I'm sure a lot of people in the chat played football. You aren't thinking like that. The City team won a treble. They aren't going to the Spurs Stadium thinking we haven't scored before. They are going thinking we're favorites to win the game. I promise you this. Pep Guardiola isn't having his pre-game lecture telling the guys, this time we have to score a goal. We have to score. He isn't going like that.
But that's an interesting one. LB, from your point of view, from a Man City fan, and I don't know how long you guys have got left. Have you got 5 minutes? So
I've probably got 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. I mean, LB, from your point of view, that's an interesting one, because all the fans, and let's be fair, whatever we talk about, we're just football fans. We're all idiots talking about football. That's all we are, right? We're football fans, right? From your point of view, though, what do you reckon Pep Guardiola's saying to his players this week? Do you think there's going to be talk of, we have not scored at Tottenham, go out there, put on a show? Is it just going to be, it's Tottenham as usual? Like, is it just going to be, it's another game? It's just another cup game? What's he saying?
He's probably going to set the team up like we always set up. You know what I mean? It's not like we dropped stinkers, by the way, when we play Spurs. You know, I do feel like we've been a bit unlucky in a lot of the games that we've played. You know what I mean? The game at the Etihad was a perfect example. I thought we were by far the better team, just got a bit unlucky. Last year, Rodri just decided to pass the ball to one of your players on the edge of the box. You know, it happens. Yeah, listen, I'm pretty confident, man. You know, jokes aside, not scoring a goal aside, I actually think that we'll win the game, man. I think well, providing he doesn't do a madness and like do what Mo might maybe suggesting and like properly rotate the team. I think he's going to play a strong side, and I think we'll win the game. I do think we'll win. So I'm pretty confident, but it would be nice to score a goal. You know what I mean? Regardless of what happens. But yeah, let's see. But yeah, listen, I'm confident. I think we'll win the game, man. Mm-hmm. I think we'll win it.
Mo, what are you going for? I'm gonna go through some of the scores in a second in the chat. Mo, what off the top of your head? Obviously, we don't know the lineups. LB and I did a show last week where we put in little addendums to say that
a replay in this game.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go to a replay if it's a draw.
It's going to the Etihad.
2-2.
Yep. I'll take that.
Yeah. LB, you're taking that right now. You're taking a draw.
Yeah, I'll take a 2-2. You know what I mean? It gives us another game to watch. So that's exciting. And
I love this mentality from LB. He's a fan. He wants to watch teams play.
Yeah, LB's thinking about YouTube. Don't you worry about that. No, LB's thinking about more streams.
I'll take a 2-2. I'll take a 2-2.
I'm with him. I'm with him. He's fine.
The chat wants to see another game, man. Let's have a draw and let's have a good, entertaining score draw, and let's do it all over again.
Well, let's have a look at some of the comments just quickly before we wrap up the show. And you can always, I'll be able to tell who supports who by this, by the way. So Ryan is not a Spurs fan. He's gone for Man City to win 3-1. Richard is a Spurs fan. He's gone Tottenham 3, Man City 2. Cantab is Spurs. He's gone 2-2. Angus is Arsenal. Man City will beat you 2-0. Yeah, how's your 2 wins in 8 games going down, Angus? You doing well over there? You all right? Levy out said 3-2 City. Spurs win 4-3. Spurs 2-1. Spurs 2-1. Spurs 2-1. 2-2, 2-2. Man City 4-1, 4-4, 2-1 City. It's very mixed, guys. It's very, very mixed. Spurs 1, City 3, 5-0. I think that must be to the home team. 5-0 to Tottenham.
5-0.
1-3 to City. I told you before the game, you get so many Spurs fans going 3-0, 4-0. Every game. Every game, we're going to batter everyone. Guys, it's been... there isn't. There is not extra time and penalties. It will go through to extra to a replay, sorry. Guys and girls, it's been an absolute pleasure. Just before we go, seen Sunderland PSV, a very confusing name, but seen Sunderland PSV. Great, love it. I said, Arsenal beat Pool, they're right in it. If they lose, it's over. So the Arsenal game in 2 games against Liverpool, if they lose...
If the draw is over. It's the draw.
If they lose or
Man
draw...
City will be 7 points. It's done. So.
Yeah. I agree.
Man City will be 6, yeah.
Thank you for the super chat. Completely agree with you on that one. Big ups to absolutely everyone in the chat. I love it when there's no trolls and everyone just keeps it football. So thank you very much for that. Look, we'll know on Friday night, guys. We'll know on Friday night. We'll take it from there. But Mo, what can people expect for you coming up in the next 24 hours or so?
Yes, tonight we'll do a stream at midnight, people, and tomorrow I have Jerry James. You have to subscribe because we got Box Office Kunle with Savva, LB with Hussam, Box Office every day in the morning, in the afternoon for you in the UK, Footy Judge Mo, and also tune into LB. Watch alongs, top notch.
Big up. So please get over there and subscribe to Footy Judge Mo. LB, what you got coming up?
I'm on with Terry at 6 p.m. I'm on Football 12-Man Podcast at 8 p.m. Maybe I'll do another stream tonight. Don't know. And yeah, man, I'm just going with the flow, man. I'm just going with the flow, enjoying it, enjoying speaking football, enjoying the debates, man. You know, the chat's coming with the fire and the good debate. So yeah, I'm just enjoying it, man. Life's good.
Good. So please get over there and subscribe to LB as well. And let's end the show on Angus, everyone's favourite Arsenal fan, who's given us a little bit of a joke to end the show on. It's not over. We're still in the race for the title. Angus, on behalf of fans that don't support Arsenal everywhere, thank you for keeping us entertained. Angus is the same fan, by the way, guys, who for the last month has been assuring me that this window Arsenal will sign Pedro Neto, Zubimendi, and Ivan Toney. So never change, Angus, never change. Much love to you. Much love to everyone. Take care. Subscribe to everyone on the panel. Smash the likes on the way out. And as always, come on, you Spurs.